Ann with Dress TV. We are so glad to be back here in our store and doing more TV series to help young girls as well as talk about fashion and latest trends and so forth. And today we have an exciting guest with us, and her name is Terry Berselli. She is with TB Casting. And is that correct?
It's TB Talent and Casting.
Okay, TB Talent and Casting. I do apologize for that.
That's all right.
And we are going to talk with her today a little bit about her business so that we can educate everybody out there that if you're interested in becoming a model, becoming an actress, a singer, dancer, how you're able to get into the business and with Terry's help. So Terry, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm just happy to be here. And I love what you're doing for young girls, teenagers, and getting them on the right track. There's so many influential things out there that I think it's important that we get a hold of them while they're still young to teach them the rights from the wrongs in this crazy world that we live in today.
No, and I do agree. And I think there's a lot of girls out there that idolize models, idolize actresses and actors, and they really want to be able to get into that. And I think it's a great opportunity for you to tell us exactly what you do. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, I started my own agency about 16, 17 years ago. And it just happened, to be honest with you. I mean, I had been praying, Lord, what would you have me do? I just came out of a divorce and I needed a job. So I went to go work for a modeling school and became their head instructor. And as I was teaching and training these kids, not making much money, mind you, but God had me there and he had my feet glued to that place. And he just told me, I need you to be here to influence these young girls and guys and teach them right from wrong. So I kind of just put all my energy and effort into teaching at first. So being that I come from a television background and also a singing and acting background, and I did some modeling, I just started teaching them what I already knew. And one thing kind of led to another. What happened is they had an agency attached to that school, and the lady who ran it, she threw the keys at me one day, and she said, I've had it. I'm out of here. I can't take any more of this business. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do. She said, I come to you all the time to ask you, who are the best girls that you have? Who are the best guys that you have? Who has talent? And you always give me the right people. You have an eye for talent. You need to run this agency. So I started running the agency, and little unbeknownst to me, they ended up going out of business in Pittsburgh. Well, at the time I was casting a movie and three or four TV commercials and some fashion shows and things, and I was really getting things moving and just surprised myself pretty much. But when they went out of business, I thought, now what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So lots of good friends of mine supported me and said, Terry, you need to open up your own agency. And I thought, I don't know how to do that. But I just prayed about it, and I put one foot in front of the other and said, Lord, where will you have me go next? And he opened up doors for me, and he shut a lot of doors for me too, but showed me that I really do have a love and a care for young people in this industry, and I knew how hard it was for me to come up in this business. And I've actually been in this business for 46 years now.
Oh, wow.
So started professionally dancing, singing, acting, modeling when I was a teenager. And I thought, well, if I can be an influence to these young people, I'm going to try. I'm going to do it. So I did, and 17 years later, I run a very successful talent agency, and I represent a lot of fabulous, talented people. It just amazes me how much talent there is here in Pittsburgh. And what I did is I started holding auditions. I didn't know what to do. How do you get people? So I started holding auditions and putting ads in the paper. And little by little, then Facebook came into existence, and I said, my agency photographer at the time, who's Douglas Chumlin, he said, you need to be on Facebook. And I said, I don't want to be on FacePage. I don't have any interest in doing social media at all. And he started a Facebook page for me, and I had like 1,000 requests for friends before I even put a post up. And the same thing happened with Instagram. I didn't even know the power of social media. So that helped me do the kind of posts about holding auditions. And then I had mostly parents asking me, can I help their kids get better at acting and modeling? And I thought, yeah, I can teach them. So I started teaching workshops. I started advertising workshops, and people just came. I didn't really do much advertising. I think word of mouth was great for me, just like it is for your business. When people see that you really love what you do, they want to be involved. And I've met so many great gals and women and teenagers and young girls from your business that it astounds me how many people who have talent just want to know how to direct that talent, where to go. And that's been my calling. My job is to teach people how to be a better them, how to get the most out of the talents they already have, build on that, perfect them, tweak them, let them have the runway, let them have the stage, let them have the camera, and even make mistakes. We learn by our mistakes. So I'm not the typical, yell at anybody for doing something wrong. I always believe that you should sandwich something negative with a positive. So to say something good about that person that's truthful, and then tell them what they're doing wrong, and then show them how to do it right, and tell them that you believe in them. Because I do. I had that in my life. I had plenty of people who helped me and believed me and trained me and taught me right from wrong on what to do in front of a camera, what not to do in front of a camera. And for girls, how to be a lady. I'm not saying that you have to wear pink and you have to wear glitz and glam, because there are plenty of girls out there who like to play ball and ride horses and wear sweatpants. And, it's bringing out the best of who they are, how God created them. And that's what I really like to find. I recognize that, and I help to develop that. So my agency is a full service agency. Not do I just book jobs, but I train and teach people on how to come up into this business.
Now, where is your agency located?
We have a studio that I share with my agency photographer in Emsworth, PA.
Okay.
And I also work out of my home as of COVID-19. That's brought us all back to working out of our houses, but I always did have an agency in my home, an office in my home. I kind of, get up in the morning and put the coffee on, and the phone starts ringing, and I never know what one day is going to bring from the next. Like, I had a guy who emailed me this morning. He said, I have a 9-year-old son. I really would like to get him some work. And I said, well, I haven't gotten any, replies or requests for kids this week, but you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. I never know what next week's going to bring. Every day is different, and you got to roll with the punches.
Right. Now, your agency have your own photographer, and can you just give a little bit of background of the photographer that you have for your agency?
Douglas Chumlin, he was a Ralph Lauren contracted model for 25 plus years, and it just so happened that I met him the very first day that I started working, and was the head instructor of that acting school. Mm-hmm. And I met him. It was his first day, and it was my first day. And I knew that he was coming, and I knew who he was. I mean, my God, I've seen so many ads that he was in every GQ and Vogue magazine in the world. So when he walked down the hall, I said, that's him? I'm not impressed. I think he looked like he needed to take a bath, you know? I mean, no offense, but he looked like a country bumpkin, you know? But he cleans up great, let me tell you that. He is a handsome, gorgeous man and a heart of gold. But we started working together that very day, and 17 years later, we're still working together. He takes pictures like they look like they're right out of a magazine. And that's what my clients want to see. My clients are interested in not the point and shoot pictures by the railroad tracks or the tire swing or the senior looking pictures, but they're looking for more action pictures, more pictures of what these talented people will look like on camera, what they'll look like in a magazine ad, what they'll look like on television, what they'll look like on in a fashion show or a fashion shoot. So Douglas has all of that. He gives all of that because he came from that background. And it's incredible. I would not have the agency I have today if it wasn't for him. So I give him credit. If you go to his website, it's dtpictures.com and see his beautiful work. He's not much for Facebook, even though he got me started on Facebook. I try to post every day something on Facebook, usually once a week or every couple days on Instagram and Twitter. I'm more interested in answering the phone and getting my clients what they need, because they call me and they say, Terry, I need a grandmother, an aunt, an uncle, a mother, a father, a teenager, twins, and a baby. Oh, and a dog and a cat. So I have talent files for all age groups, from infants to toddlers, all the way up to senior citizens. And we just did a commercial with 70, 75-year-old talent. And they're the easiest ones to work with because they've been in the industry forever. And they are true bloods to this business. They are the ones that, you know, have been out there forever, and they love it, and they do a fabulous job. So a lot of times I try to get those type of people to come in and teach or train at my acting and modeling workshops so that they can give these younger people an idea. This is a lifetime business. This is a lifetime business.
And it's challenging. It's not easy. It's not,
No.
You know, it's anything you do in life, I believe, you know, you have to be challenged, and you have to, if you have it deep down inside, you're going to continue doing whatever, because like I always quote Rocky, because life isn't always about rainbow and sunshines. It's how much you get turned down and the doors close. But if you truly want something, you got to get back up and get back in the ring. And, you know, my husband and I, we had a conversation about that, and it's, you know, it's so true just in life in general, because you just can't take your first no, because you may not, you know, what your clients are looking for may not be, you know, what you have as far as your actors and actresses. And, you know, unfortunately, it's a tough business, and it does mess with your self-esteem, your self-confidence, your self-worth. And
it can, unless you know who you are in Christ.
Exactly.
And that's what I tell people. You need to know who you are first. So maybe we need to start from scratch. Maybe we need to look in the mirror. And I really do get a positive outcome with girls when I tell them, you know how you feel when you're in your bedroom and the door is shut and you're looking into the mirror and you know that you can do it? That's where I need you to be. And once they kind of comprehend that, I take them back to, you may not be the person they're looking for that day or that week or that month even. I can't tell you how many times I have been turned down on auditions and didn't make it. But God has another plan. And the reason why I say that is not every audition is meant for you. You may get the opportunity to do that and audition 5, 6, 10, 12, 100 times before you get a yes. You might get a 99 no's but to get a yes, but still, I want you to go back to that mirror in your bedroom to know that you can do it. And that's the strength behind keeping going on and on and on, because I could submit 30 people for a job and they only want one. 29 are going to get no's. And it may honestly take them a week of deciding back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, who they want to cast. Ultimately, it's the client's decision. The person running the TV commercial, the TV show, the print ad. I just don't know. I wish sometimes they would just let me pick.
Right. So then you have the choice.
Because I know. And sometimes I have good clients that will trust me. And they trust me and they'll say, Terry, we'll leave it up to you. Who do you want to pick for this? And depending on what they're looking for, because, I need to know more about the character types they're looking for, the brand of what they're selling, what the idea they're going through. So it's not a one-shot, make a phone call, email somebody, it's cast. It takes sometimes weeks and weeks and weeks, and sometimes months, going back and forth with that client, trying to make a decision on what they want, the cast, how they want it to actually be scripted, what they want the background to look like, how they want the girls or the guys to be dressed, wardrobe has to be selected, hair and makeup has to be done. It's a huge production, and one that I absolutely love. And I tell everybody, it doesn't matter how many no's you get. It matters on the yes or the yeses that you get. And it's so worth it. It's just so worth it. Like I said, I got hundreds of no's. I can tell you about the yeses I got, though. And I always tell people, if you didn't make a job, or you didn't get that fashion shoot, or you didn't get that commercial or that TV show, there's something else out there for you. My example is I worked on the show called His Place, and I played the owner of the diner's prodigal, unsaved, troublemaking sister, Suzanne. Okay, and that was a Cornerstone Television here in Wall, PA. And I used to go as an extra, and I always made sure that I was trying to do my very best to be staying in character as an extra. And I teach my people that if you stay in character and you learn how to work the camera correctly, then you know what? You'll get noticed. And then when they do have auditions, and they held auditions, then I got selected. But what happened is they filmed on a Monday. Long story short, I didn't get the email that said we were going to film at 4 o'clock, meaning I had to be there at 1. And I showed up at 7, like the normal Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday filmings. And they said, oh, they went home. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I ruined my chance to be on international television. And the producer of the show, Tim Bergen, he said to me, he called me and apologized. He said, I'm sorry I didn't send you an email. We tape early on Mondays, but don't worry about it. We'll be back in touch with you. That was like the most horrible
your
thing,
balloon.
right? A month went by. I heard nothing. A month and a half went by. And they said to me, instead of you playing the waitress, which we originally had you cast for, we want to know if you will play my sister and be a troublemaker. And I said, I could do that. So, and that show, I was on there for 8 years. Like, if I would have played the waitress, I would have been on maybe 1 or 2 days a week. I was on 5 nights a week. It aired 9:30 at night and re-aired at 12:30 in the morning. It was a Christian television program that went to the edge. All right. As it went to the edge, we were able to bring up topics that no one else could bring up. And if I had been the waitress, that's not that that's a bad job, but they had to give that away. They gave it to somebody else. So they had to open up something for me to do. And guess what? They did. And so that's why I tell people, don't get discouraged. If you don't get one, there's something else out there for
Right.
you. And chances are it's going to be better.
Right.
Just got to believe in yourself and get some good training. That's the ultimate. I mean, people will come in for a workshop and I never see them again. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's not my workshop. Maybe you didn't click with me. Maybe you want more. But go out and get some acting classes, take some modeling classes, learn from the people who've gone before you. You know,
Well, I guess that's a good way to kind of, my next question would be, how do they get involved to start doing the modeling, to start doing the acting? Like, what is your process that you give these girls if they would come to you as far as your workshops?
what I do is I first, I tell them, if you would just simply email me pictures. If you email me pictures of yourself, well, if they're over the age of 17. By law, I'm not allowed to speak to somebody who's over the age or not, who's not over the age of 17. But at 18, there's, you know, they're considered adults. They can email me directly and call me directly. But at 17, they're still allowed to email me, call me, Facebook message me, whatever. But I still have to have one of their parents or legal guardians come in with them to sign them in. And if they ever get booked on a job, everything we do is under contract. Their parents or legal guardian would have to sign for them. But I tell them simply, have your parents email me pictures of yourself, not selfies with fish lips. You know, no hats, no sunglasses. I need to see who you look like. And I really don't like selfies, okay, because selfies are a little, they don't really, they're distorted most of the time. The camera's too close. And I try to teach everybody everything closer to the camera appears to be larger. Everything further away appears to be smaller. So selfies are only this far away. You get a real distortion on the face. Not only that, just hand your phone to somebody else. Let them take a picture of you. Make sure that you email me not just pictures, but if you have a film clip of you being on camera, a phone number where I can reach you. And I will start a talent file on anyone who emails me. And my email is really simple. My website's tbtalent.com. My email is terry@tbtalent.com. And it's spelled TERRI at T as in Tom, B as in boy, talent.com. It's pretty simple. Once I start a talent file on them, I will go through a little process with them, asking them some questions, having them fill out a stats form so I can get them in the right category in my files. I have so many different files, age groups, height, if they're a plus size model, if they're a petite model, if they're only actors or actresses, or if they only want to model. Now, I try to tell people acting and modeling go hand in hand. If you're going to be a great model, you have to learn how to act. And if you're going to be a great actress or actor, you have to learn how to model. You need to learn how to work that camera. So they do go hand in hand. But I do specialize in certain things. Like if I have somebody who likes to do voiceover work and or singing and or they only want to do, let's say, TV commercials. They don't even want to go into being an extra. They don't want to do fashion shows. So I will put them in that category. So a lot of questions are asked after that. And a lot of times I just simply get on the phone. Like we'll email back and forth. And I think, I'm just going to pick up this phone. Nobody answers the phone anymore.
It's all text mostly.
You know, so, but once they've gotten an email from me or a text message or a Facebook message, then they will answer the phone, or I'll say, hey, can you call me back at your earliest convenience? Just so basically so that we could discuss what has to be done. And then I like for them to come in to do a workshop to learn the parts, the ups and downs, the ins and outs of this industry. Like I said, I used to sing. I sang with the Delmonics for quite a few years and learned an incredible amount of information about what to do out there in the music industry. And people ask me all the time, do you still sing? I would love to sing, but I just don't have the time. I would love to even do more TV commercials and act more. I just don't have the time. But I love what I do, and I love helping other people, you know, get the step up, move forward, get better and better. Each and every time I work with somebody, they come in to do one or two workshops, and then the third workshop they do, they go, I get it. I finally get it now. It clicks. Just takes some time. So whether it be through me or you, or we do workshops together as well, or they go out and they sign up for a class at a community college, whatever. Education is education. And I think the best education is really being in front of that camera, but how do we get them in front of that camera? They come in for workshops and auditions, which are on camera, so they get to learn how to work that camera. I have them do homework assignments, which is self-taping. Today's day and age with COVID, self-taping is the big thing. And I do take a lot of self-tapes. A lot of times my clients want to see people in their natural habitat, in their home or their living room or their kitchen or their bedroom, as long as the bed's made and
Yeah.
there's no garbage around, and. But that we do that all at the workshop. I teach people a lot of things. Image is everything in this business. And whether we like it or not, we have an audience that we have to oblige.
And it's not so much that it's, I mean, the typical thing like, oh, it's all skinny girls, that they
no.
want. I mean, you have worked with variety of young ladies, mature ladies, and even adults, and it's all
yes.
shapes and sizes, all ethnicities. That it's not
ethnicities.
just the size 0 and a 2 that you have to starve yourself, because that's where the modeling industry has gotten the bad rap.
Well, and it did, and rightfully so. But it's not that way anymore. I mean, number one, we're in Pittsburgh, so it's a little bit different than New York. But I see such a change in New York and LA that they don't want these girls and guys to starve themselves, and they have to be a certain weight or height or looks are, it's amazing. Like, well, they want somebody who looks different. So in this day and age, with cultural mixes, ethnic mixes, that's what they're really, honestly, looking towards. I'm not saying the blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl is out, but she's not the only thing happening today. And the skinny girl is not the one. They want healthy. They like curvy girls, even if they've kept in shape. And I try to tell girls and guys, I don't care how tall you are. I don't care what size you are. I want you to be healthy. So if you're eating, candy bars for breakfast and eating a lot of fried food and too much pizza, not that pizza's bad for you, but eat it with a salad so that you get it in and get it out. Staying healthy is vitally important. So working out is vitally important. Keeping on track and learning how to discipline yourself. And you're going to be on that camera, so you want to look your very best. So we do a lot of makeovers. I have a gal who's in her 40s right now that I'm working with, and I told her, please don't be offended. I love you dearly, but I need for you to cut your hair. It's too shaggy on the ends. I know you're trying to grow it long, and I get that. But can we cut off 5 or 6 inches? And she was like, no. And I'm like, well, just work with me on this one. I see you differently than you see yourself. We started doing things like giving her facials and helping her skin and putting the correct makeup on her, staying away from the frosted eyeshadows that made her look dated. Started putting her in the right wardrobe because she's a curvy girl and she needs to wear really nice clothing that is made for a curvy girl. She can't go out looking like she's 20 anymore. And yet I get the 20-year-olds that want to look like the 40-year-olds. So it's a balancing act. It's a real balancing act, but I have a great eye for it. I know you do as well. I've seen so many of the gowns and the dresses that you've put these girls in, and I think, oh my God, that's the most perfect gown you could put on this girl. Like, you have the eye for fitting the body. I don't care what size she is. She could be 5 foot, 80 pounds, or she could weigh 220 pounds and be a size 18 and she looks fabulous because you know how to do that. I'm sending my girls to you.
Well, I just think that that's what Dress Thought's all about. It's just so important because, I mean, I've always been a curvier, bigger girl than the average, and
Me
I
too.
never was able to find dresses that would fit me, and then for me to feel beautiful. And I love getting dressed up and feeling good.
Yes.
And it's difficult out there because a lot of designers, they don't do that to make dresses that fit curvier girls. They make them look like stud above. Even moms. Mother of the Bride dresses, they have the big jackets and the big sleeves, and moms are hip. They're not what
That's
they
right.
used to be, back in the day. And, we have a lot of moms that we work with. And
Or grandmother ages.
Exactly.
I'm grandmother age.
Exactly. And
I don't want to look like you say, an old stud above.
Stud above.
I want to look fashionable, but I don't want to show too much skin.
Correct. And I think that that's where I've struggled, even with myself, to be in front of a camera. And we're doing TV series, even be in front of because I never considered myself, the normal. I always felt like I was different. I wasn't like the small size. I wasn't like the most beautiful. I wasn't, and like I struggled with that. And that's where I had to build my self-confidence and to be able to be in front of a camera, to be able to do these videos that we're doing. And then I think that portrays onto girls that come into my store.
It does. And I will tell you that I get girls that have personality plus, just like you do. But they didn't rely on just their beauty to get them through. No offense. I mean, I have plenty of pretty girls that have great personalities, but I have plenty of pretty girls that's all they rely on is their beauty. And beauty fades, my dear. And I think personality shines through, and that is part of the beauty. That is most of the beauty, if you ask me. I tell every girl that comes in, and every guy as well, but I tell them, I want to see that sparkle and shine in your eye when you smile. And if you can't do that because maybe you don't feel like it today or you feel a little depressed, I want you to go back to where you are when you're at home in front of your own mirror. And you know that you know that you know. I want you there. And I want to see that sparkle in your eye. And when it comes into their eye, their beauty just is amazing. So, and I honestly, I personally will tell girls, I think you need to gain a little weight. Just because I don't like to see these skinny girls that they look sickly. Okay. And I also will tell a girl if she needs to lose a few pounds, maybe not even you lose a few pounds, but firm up a little bit. Because I think when we exercise or go swimming or be active, we feel better about ourselves. I will never and have never been the skinny girl. I'm the Italian curvy girl, have been since day one, okay? There's nothing I can do. That's how God made me, and I need to celebrate that. And when I tell people that, I have to celebrate my differences. I'm
Right.
different than you. I can never be you. You can never be me. Let's celebrate who we are, and let's love who we are. God loves us. We need to love ourselves. And I start to see girls come alive. I say girls more than guys. I don't know why. Guys have a tendency, they've always been told you can do it. A girl's always been told, stay quiet, be a lady. What's up with that? I mean, my mother still to this day will say to me, Terry, do you have to be so loud? And I'm like, yeah, sorry, I gotta just be me. I want people to be themselves.
Right. And I think that's important because, I mean, I know this one time, and I've never told anybody this, my husband knew, but my one dream was always to be just like on stage, Broadway, just singing in a musical, and just one time. That's my total dream. And so I went, and Sister Act was in Pittsburgh.
Oh, I love it.
And I went and auditioned. I had no clue what I was doing. I mean, I sang in the church choir, but I was basically like, okay, you got this. So I sang The Little Mermaid, and I walked in there confident and everything, and it just went so totally bad. But I was just I was like, wow, I did something that nobody else in my family did. None of my friends ever did, but it
Right.
was just, and people said to me, I can't believe you did that. I got a headshot made. I never did this before. And
This
it
is
just,
good.
it turned bad. I even laughed at myself for the people having to, I auditioned with, because it was just, I froze up. I was off key, and Yeah, it just
like
didn't
Lucille
work.
Ball.
Yeah, it was bad. So I appreciated the fact that I got that opportunity, but I haven't done anything since. But it just, you have to take risks. And I think when you're
Yes.
in the modeling industry and you're also in the acting industry, you know, just like we talked about, you can't worry about taking no, because I think it builds character. I think you learn from it. Okay, what can I do better the next time? You know, how
Right.
can I make a difference the next time that I may get chosen? And, you know, that's.
See, and if I would have known you then, I'd have gotten a hold of you and shook you a little bit and said, "Come on, Carrie, you can do it. Let's do this. Let's get it." But
Terry, it was bad. It was just bad.
But you know what? It's okay because, you know, our directions aren't always where we think they need to go. And here we go this way. Well, let's take this road and see how it goes. If it's not the right road, God will prod you to where you need to be. It's called walk by faith, not sit by faith. So when you walk out and you do something like that, okay, so maybe it's not where you needed to be, but look where you are now.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I know,
It's all
but it doesn't matter. That thing, that instinct in you of being dramatic is where you are now.
Right.
You are there, and this is fabulous. I mean, I could not imagine owning a shop like this or doing what you do. You're so creatively talented, and you know what? And girls, they come to you for your expertise. And that's why I hope that they come to me for my expertise, because that's who we are. We are to help each other because we can't all do the same things.
Right.
And you send your people to me, I send my people to you, and so on and so forth. And just like the one gal that just came in from the dance studio. What's the name of the dance studio again?
Machetta's Dance.
Right. Okay. Now, we like them on Facebook, you know, very talented people. Like, one person or one situation leads you to another. And I think that's the beauty of this industry, is that one thing will lead you to another and take you into where you need to go. I mean, I've had girls that I've worked with for 16, 17 years, and now they're having children of their own. And they have gotten back in touch with me and said, you know, I know you really helped me. Can you help my daughter or my son? Or I've gotten letters from people that have said, like, I don't know if you remember me. And I don't forget people. I do not forget a face, number one, but I don't forget people that I've worked with. And this gal, well, a couple of them, but one girl in particular said, you know, I just want to tell you that you helped my self-esteem. If that's all that I did for her, if that's all that you've done for somebody is help their self-esteem, look where that's going to take them in their lives to be better adults, better parents, better mothers, you know, to help the next generation, because God knows we all need help in this crazy world we live in. Right? So that's our calling, Carrie. That's our job.
And that's good, because I like that better. And, you know, I mean, it's true. When you get somebody that tells you, I never felt beautiful like the girl that's on my wall, her quinceanera dress. She came in, she didn't have any self-esteem whatsoever.
I can't imagine, because she's gorgeous.
And she doesn't realize that. And she sent me an email after her quinceanera. She goes, I didn't just leave having a beautiful gown. I left with the self-confidence and self-love that, you know what, I am beautiful. And I helped that. And that, I mean, you can't put a price tag on that, because that means I did touch somebody. So I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And
Exactly.
you know, even though sometimes if I, you know, don't have that confidence, if I can give somebody that, then I think that's a gift.
It's a gift, because you know what? Even in our own daily, whatever, things that we're doing that are so sometimes common, you know, that we think, oh, like, what am I doing that's so grand today? We got to do those mundane things as well. Every one of us does. But we get down or depressed, or maybe over this COVID thing, we've gotten down or depressed. But I tell people, don't do that, because, you know, here's the thing. If you take your mind off yourself and you put it on somebody else, your troubles will go away.
Right.
And that's what you do so beautifully. You come in here, look, you may not want to open that door when it's open, because that day you didn't feel so great. You bring your coffee or your tea or whatever, and you come in, and the first person who walks in the door doesn't even want to give you eye contact. And there's something there that you're able to touch them or say, you know, hey, can I show you something, or what are you out looking for today? It's kind of early. Beautiful day today, isn't it? I don't care if it's snowing or raining. It's still a beautiful day.
Right.
So when you say that to them and you touch their lives, you're taking your mind off yourself. You're putting it on someone else, and it makes it a much better world. We're not to be doing this life alone. We need each other. That's why, okay, we had to stay in our houses. I get that. But now we have to come out and be a little more social. Okay, we can be socially distant, whatever. I get that as well. But I think we just really we've come to the realization we need each other more.
Right.
And that's what you do. That's what I do. And I just hope to continue to do more of that. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't plan on retiring.
No, I'm not retiring. I just got started.
Right.
Yeah, I've been in business for 10 years, but I mean, I finally, things are, where I personally want them to be. So it's only going up from here. So I'm pretty excited about my future in my business.
I know. It's awesome. And we're going to be doing the fashion show coming up.
Yes.
Which I know we've canceled so many of them.
Because of the COVID.
Because of the COVID.
It'll be in February. We're going to do modeling workshops. We're also going to do a top model competition as well as doing our fashion show on Saturday. And we'll be having information about that coming up, and very excited about that because I would like to get back to some normalcy as far as, showcasing my dresses, getting back into the hair and makeup, putting the lashes on, and just really being like dress top, top to the 9/10s, making it a perfect evening for everybody to be able to come out.
I think we're all ready for it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a success.
For
The one thing I do want to just touch base on is the industry itself. A lot of people, because we're not in New York, we're not in California, but there are a lot of companies here in Pittsburgh that you do work with. So there is a lot of potential and opportunities here. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. And you know what? Pittsburgh is like the lost city, the forgotten city, a mini Hollywood, as you would say. There's so many people filming here. Why are they filming here? Well, one good reason is it's less expensive to film in Pittsburgh. I mean, I have clients from every state in the United States that will call through either advertising agencies or on their own because they know the value of filming in Pittsburgh. And the other reason is there's lots of great talent in Pittsburgh. There always has been. I mean, from the CMU days, Carnegie Mellon University, from all the actors and actresses that came out of there. But a lot of top Hollywood people have come out of Pittsburgh. I mean, talented people who I think have a great passion for the industry and life because we're a small town. We're not corroded by the large industry. We're not swallowed up like you go to New York or even Philadelphia. If you don't, I don't know, if you're not in the up of doing this industry constantly, you can get lost. I think in Pittsburgh there's so much better opportunity for people because there's a lot going on. We do a lot of TV commercials. There's a lot of Netflixes coming to Pittsburgh, and also a lot of movies and TV series have come in to film in Pittsburgh. We have a big conglomerate of production houses here where we have good weather, a lot of good weather, believe it or not. I mean, if you move a little bit north from here, above I-80 or into Erie, you got bad weather that starts, quickly. We have a large time slot of green on the leaves on the trees. We're in a valley here, so we get good weather. We have mild weather. I think that a lot of that has to do with it. I think, too, people have that small town feel here where they're not afraid to ask somebody directions. They're not afraid to talk with somebody walking down the street. They're not afraid to wave to a neighbor. I mean, I know all my neighbors, and I know people who in other cities, they don't even know their next door neighbor. We know more than our next door neighbor. We know North Hills, South Hills, East Hills, West Hills. We're all over. Pittsburgh has a large population of talented people. I mean, I go onto my Facebook and I'm just amazed to see what people are actually doing. Now, I'm not an exclusive agency, so I never hold exclusivity with people. My belief is to get them in, train them up, get them to where they need to go, kind of push them out of the nest. If I can book them on something, I'm certainly going to. But if not, I want them to go out and get work on their own. There's so many different casting agencies in Pittsburgh as well, and other production companies that are always looking for good people. You know, so there's a much better opportunity here than working in a lot of the other cities. You kind of get swallowed up in a lot of these other cities.
Well, I saw you did a commercial for Sheets recently,
Yes.
and then
I've been working with Sheets for like 8 years now.
okay, and then you also did with Wendy Bell,
Jeff
Jeff
Rosales.
Rosales.
Yes.
Anybody else that you've worked with that people may know that from Pittsburgh, being in Pittsburgh?
Well, you know what? And Gabby Barrett, she
Right.
was just nominated. What a great honor for her for the newest female vocalist in the Country Music Awards. And she got a chance to perform on, I think it was 2 nights ago. And wow, she is powerful. We did a magazine shoot with her last year at this time, and I helped her with her wardrobe and her hair and makeup, and she did most of her own makeup because that's the kind of girl she is. She's got it together, that girl.
Right.
Okay. And we were with Dr. Shelley Hipsky in her magazine, and her magazine is just an outstanding magazine. And during the actual filming, we just had a bunch of fun, and we just got to realize we're all just normal human beings with talent here and there. It's just amazing. So when we did that magazine spread, that day, I think 2 days prior to that, she just released the song I Hope. And I just happened to be videoing her from my phone, and she was singing along because we had it playing in the studio, her song to I Hope. And her sister said, number 14. In 2 days, she went number 14 on, I think it was Radio Disney charts. But,
Wow.
you know, who expects that? You know, and Dr. Shelley Hipsky, who runs the magazine, her magazine's all over the world.
Okay, so you worked with a pop singer in the past. Her name, Christina?
Christina Aguilera. Well, she was like 7 or 8 years old, and she came into an audition. And it wasn't for my agency, because I was actually working for Jude Poll's agency at the time. And she walked in, and the microphone was bigger than her. I mean, it was like, and she came in and she sang crazy. And she was 7. And I looked at her and I said, oh my God, where did such a little girl get such a big voice? And you know, her first words to me were, I give all the praise and the honor and the glory to my Lord Jesus Christ. And I said to her, and don't you ever forget that. But we worked with her. No one else would compete against her who would. You know, she became a superstar. We just knew she would. Okay. And I have another young girl. She's started working with her when she was 7 or 8. And I told her that I worked with Christina Aguilera, just little things with her, just to teach her how to walk and do. But she was already a godsend, you know. But I worked with another gal, Ashley Marina, who's coming up very big in the Pittsburgh area. And she just was on America's Got Talent. And when she first came in, you know, I just told her, I said, you just know that you've got to just come from the heart. Don't sing for anybody but yourself. Don't try to impress anyone else. You know, God gave you a gift, you need to use it. Because if you don't use it, He's going to give it to somebody else. So just sing from the heart. And man, that girl, she is taken off. She took a few lessons from me. She did photo shoots with us. I tried to teach her a little bit, you know, things, but she was a natural. Just like Gabby Barrett, who could teach her anything. She's a natural.
Right.
Right? So, and I'm not saying you either have it or you don't, but kinda. And then you've got to be able to progress on it. You've got to be able to polish yourself. Well, that's what this Ashley Marina is doing. She came in and she has polished herself. Not only that, she's written her own songs. She's an incredible. She's 12. She's absolutely incredible. We need to get her in here for some great wardrobe because she's that girl's on top of it.
Well,
so keep your eye out.
I'm all for that. So
And then working again with Shelley Hipsky with Inspiring Lives magazine. I mean, she's just got so much energy and so much to give. And I find people like her, like you, like myself, that we're out there and sometimes we're bigger than life, okay? And we teach our people to be bigger than life. We need to rest as well. So I try to teach my people, as much as you're working, at your highest capacity, even on adrenaline, on stage or in front of that camera, when it's time to go home, you need to shut the world out and quiet yourself down and take care of yourself and rest, or you'll get burnt out. Because I find so many people today with social media, they totally burn themselves out. And I mean, I myself get into that rat race. And then I got to separate myself, pull myself back out, and say, I'm resting today. I am not I'm not answering an email, a phone call, a text message. I'm not getting on Instagram. I'm not going on Facebook or whatever it is out there. And I think we need to abide by that. I think that's what God's been trying to teach us through some of this COVID, is that we need to just rest and chill. And if we don't take a day off a week, God can't honor that. So I'm all about go, 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 go. Get into it. Do it your best. Give it everything you have. And then shut it down. Rest. Don't work. Enjoy company with other people. Go out to dinner. Have a glass of wine. Enjoy company with only your husband or your closest friends or family. And shut the world out. Because and I thought that's what I could tell anybody who I've ever worked with in the past. That's what you need to do. You need to reserve your energies, because our audience depends on us. We have an obligation.
Right.
So, but I don't know. I love this business, up or down. It doesn't matter. Even in the worst days, I think about, they put the little girl in the room and it's filled with horse manure. And she comes out and says, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere. The glass is half full. There is so much that we have to offer in life. We need to share it. We can't go to the grave with our recipes still in us.
Right.
And so that's what I want. I want people to come in and learn and go out and conquer and go out and teach. It's a ripple effect. Whatever we do is a ripple effect. We reap what we sow. Okay? And if you're sowing bad and negative, that's what you're going to get. You're going to reap that back as your harvest. And if you're reaping goodness and kindness and mercy and forgiveness and trying to teach good things, that's what you're going to get back. I'm going to tell you, I shouldn't say this, but I don't even advertise. I don't care. I don't advertise. I want who belongs to come to me to come to me. Whoever God sends me. Like Douglas, my agency photographer, will say, so how many people are coming to the workshop this week? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, what do you mean you don't know? Well, 10 people told me they did. If 5 shows up, that's who's supposed to be there. Or 5 people said they're going to be at the workshop and 1 shows up. That 1 girl is the one who's supposed to be there that day. And inevitably, that's how it works. Whoever's there, that's who I work with And that's who I give my time and my energy and my talent to help to develop them. And it comes back. It really comes back.
Well, I think you can tell you're passionate about your business 150%. And I think you have helped a lot of girls, even men, as far as, believing in themselves, building their self-confidence, and even getting out there into the right direction, because it is if you get with the wrong talent agent, they could either help you or they can hurt you. And
Right.
I think that by some of the stories that you have told us, I really think that that's, if anybody who wants to get into this business, to reach out to you, to be able to start their journey in, becoming an actress, becoming a model, becoming a singer, dancer, whatever they want to do. I think, your talent agency would be one that, certainly for them to give you a call. And we're going to have the information at the end where you can contact Terry directly through either her email, her website, or even her phone number, and that you can become part of her talent agent and help for your dreams to come true. And I promise, I will one day go back to another audition, more prepared than I was, but
You come to one of my auditions.
I will be on stage one day singing, and then then I fulfilled that prophecy that I have inside. But that's for another series. But
well, let me just say this. I tell parents this, and I'm opening this up to you as well. Obviously, anybody who comes into my workshop, whether they have kids, young kids, I mean, I start them off as early as 4 years old, as long as they can sit still, all the way up to, I've had 75-year-olds in my workshop. And if they come in, I will always tell them, parents are welcome to stay. You are welcome to come in anytime with any of your people, and I will guarantee you that you will learn something from the workshop. It's a 3-hour workshop. It's $50, okay? No charge, obviously, because here's what I tell people. Come in. I have twins that'll come in. I'll go, okay, the egg split or whatever, one price. I don't care. I'm not in it for the money. Chase your dream and the money will come. Don't chase money, okay? So I tell parents, I guarantee you stay. You want to pay me $50 extra just from what you learn, but please don't. And then I tell the girl or guy who maybe in their 40s or even 50s who think they know everything, I tell them, please come into my workshop. And I tell you at the end of the workshop, if you feel it wasn't worth the $50 and you haven't learned enough, don't pay me. And I have had people who've been in this industry modeling for many a fashion show that have come in and said, Terry, I always thought I was doing it right, but I wasn't quite sure. And now I know. I know what I'm doing is right. And I will teach them the basics and then teach them how to put their own personal flair into it. So not everybody looks the same, on that runway or stage. But it is just amazing to see what develops out of learning the right skills the right way and then adding your own personality and your flair to it. So I encourage everybody, come in. You will learn, I promise you.
well, maybe one day I'll take you up on that offer.
You need to. We'll have fun.
So, but again, this is Carrie Ann with Terry, and I do appreciate you coming out today and
Thank
talking
you.
a little bit more about what opportunities are out there in Pittsburgh as far as talent agents, and also opportunities for commercials, movies, Netflix. I know it's just big, and certainly you have those connections here in Pittsburgh that anybody that is interested should go reach out to Terry so that you can maybe be the next, Gabby Barrett or
That's right.
One of those other famous actresses and actors that she has worked with. But certainly, always don't give up on your dreams, because there's always a way to get to it. It may take you a little bit longer, but eventually in the end, you will get to where you want to be. So, and I think, meeting up with Terry would be a perfect first step for you. And certainly, she has a lot of experience, been in the business for over 40 years, and we do appreciate you coming to Dress Hot today and telling us a little bit more about your experience, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
Yeah, same here. And I just want to say one last thing.
Yes, love.
It's a lifetime business. You have no choice. If you've got the bug, it's with you for life. Even the cameramen behind are shaking their head yes. right?
So-
Because you got the bug. You don't have a choice. It's in you. You've got to use it. So for the glory of God, you know, be a star for Jesus. That's what I say. But come in, learn. This lady has had opened such doors for me with her beautiful clients and talent. And you know what? I'm much appreciative. You have no idea. And I love working with your girls because they love you. And it shows big time.
So I'm so excited that we got this time to talk with Terry and to continue our Dress Hot TV series. I look forward to speaking with you guys next month. And remember, in the meantime, stay beautiful, love who you are, and love yourself. Carrie Ann, out.